Do you trust them? Never. Will they lie? A lot. Like, so we have that's the same thing in the Caribbean, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Because we want to abuse black talent. We want to abuse. So when we do that, how are the people on the other side supposed to feel? Well, they're going to be like, well, I'm tired of dealing with you because you don't pay. You give a bad attitude. You want all the work for free. So then they go out and they do that. So then we get mad when they see somebody else because I'm going to be honest. In restaurants, whites are more likely to tip than blacks.
Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda. This is the Repart podcast and we do have a surprise for you. We have an event happening on the 2nd of Feb. Check out our social media pages to see the poster. I hope to see you guys there. Before we dive in, Maintain, you have no hair.
Yes. I thought I'd start the year fresh. I mean, I want to be like O'Shea.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Took it off.
Okay. Guys, tell us what you think about his new look.
Be nice.
Don't hold back. Watch this clip from Go Black to Africa. It's a European talking about white privilege in Ghana, healthier life, and business parks. Yeah. Watch this and react to it with us.
Of course, even as a white man here, I have a lot of privilege. Yeah, doors open, it's kind of messed up to think about it, but doors open way easier for me than for a Ghanaian. And that's even though I'm the foreigner.
We walked over here from where the cafe was at, right? We entered the street and there was a car that stopped.
Oh yeah.
And I knew he only stopped because you were walking across the street. This is just how.
It's not, bro, it's the same when I walk along.
I'm just saying, if it was me, they would have kept on going.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you even recognize there are some white, there's benefits.
No, there's huge white privilege here because I have friends in Ghana. I get to make networking connections here with big men who have power that I could never even reach in Germany.
Yeah.
So me being here, I'm using that privilege in a way that I'm trying to use it for good, in a way to build something that I can pay back to my community.
Okay, guys, you heard him. He said he experiences white privilege in Ghana. They treat him real nice. The cars stop for him. He gets treated way better than the common Ghanaian in his own country, in Ghana.
Is it true, Joan?
I will say that white people experience privilege in Uganda because there's a certain restaurant out in a popular mall that serves white people first. Even if you're the black person and you got there earlier, they'll still look at the white person and serve them first and treat them nicely. I had a friend who recently went there, and then there's the host
restaurant?
Cafeteria.
Oh, I got to mention it, O'Shea. If they sue us,
it happened to me too, and I love cafeteria.
Oh, it's cafeteria.
yeah, she got in there, and then
we gonna tell the truth. Fuck it.
Yeah, she got in there, and then they didn't want to serve her because they don't think black people have the money to spend there, which is so funny because you see a lot of black people at that particular restaurant. But you can see that I don't know what it is. I think Maintain has talked about it before. People have an inferior complex. They think white people are more superior, so they treat them better, or they also associate it with good coming out of it. They think if I treat a white person like this in a nice way, then maybe something good is going to come my way. It could be a tip, it could be money, it could be an opportunity, it can be anything. So that's how most black people see it. So I will say it's still happening. It's very unfortunate that it's happening, but
do you think it's blatant though? Like, is it obvious?
Yeah.
More obvious than that? Like, do you think it's becoming more? Oh, sorry. Like, do you feel like it's changing or it's the same?
I will say for Uganda, I will say it's changing in a sense that there's a huge middle class here. So like more people are able to afford certain things that the white people are able to also afford. Because initially, black people couldn't afford certain things and white people are affording them. So it's like you're seeing them in the country clubs and whatnot. But now you see black people, Ugandan people everywhere. So I think it's changing. But you can still see, because you see how when you're getting to a security guy to check you, and then when he sees the white person say, "Oh, good morning, hi." It's like, "Oh, you're welcome." And then to you, it's just like, "Madam, what do you have?" You understand? It's just like, oh, I don't get the same treatment. You're not that excited to see me. You think I won't spend any money? But it's still
You definitely
there.
gonna spend no money, not you.
Stop.
That's the truth.
If I've spent money on you, comment in the comments like, I spend money.
On yourself, but not on nobody else. But go ahead.
But I'm just saying, you can still see it. But then I also will say that you see it more from people who are not well-traveled or the locals.
I was about to
and this
say
is
that.
not
I
me
was
hating
about
on
to say
them.
that.
Like,
No, it's
God
the
bless
truth.
them.
Okay.
This is not me
Good
hating
point,
on
good
them.
point.
But you can see it's mostly from people who, like I was saying, it's mostly from people who are not that well-traveled. Who, you know, I feel like when you travel and you get more exposure, you're able to say these are normal people that are just like you, and you're a normal human being. But then they just have that village mentality, that local mentality, you know, that African man, that local mentality of, you know what, maybe a white man is superior to me, or this is my boss and whatnot. And yet they're walking and taking borders. So Maintain, what do you think?
No, I agree with you, Jonita. It's like you say, when people that are a little less traveled and for whatever reason there is less traveled, it's not their fault. It's just the way it is, right? They see, you know, the way white people portray themselves, because let's be honest, they own a lot of things, so they're not going to portray themselves in a bad light. So that makes people think they're if you haven't traveled, you believe it, right?
Yeah.
And I see it so much in Kampala as a DJ.
Ooh.
Like when they make complaints, when there's something they don't like, whether it's a drink or whatever, people are like afraid of them, because it's like in Kampala you don't really know why this white person is here.
Yeah.
I mean, are they in government? Are they in trade? Are they in
UN?
this? UN, exactly. Can they get me in trouble?
Yeah.
So they really tread on eggshells around white people here. But like when you've traveled and you've seen them in like say in London, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever I worked, wherever I studied, white people are like middle to the bottom, right? And they purely in some not all, but some of them are purely in the job because of the color of the skin and nepotism.
Yeah.
Right. So you learn that very quickly when you travel and you go up other places and you interact. You see they're not as at a higher level as you put them as, or as they portray themselves.
Yeah.
So I believe that the privilege here is so high.
Yeah.
But it's starting to more and more with like, say like you got the middle class, right? You got the middle class that travel
Yeah.
and they know it. And you
Yeah.
get the middle class that haven't traveled and they kind of uphold it. So, but the more Ugandans that are traveling, whether it be for work or for study, and then they come back home, they're bringing the attitude back. And with our podcast,
Whoa, what kind of attitude?
like they're coming back and they're saying, listen, I've worked in London, right? They're like, you see the way they live, they see the way they act. There's people that do this. I'm in work. Simple things you should know in this position. You don't know. And you're coming to me and things like that. So they have these experiences. They come back, they tell their family, they tell their friends, and it starts breaking down the myth. You know, that if you treat a white person well, you're gonna get a big tip, or they may even sweep you up and take you to London for a job, or and things like that.
Yeah.
So the more and more people travel, the more and more people coming back to Kampala, and you know, just basically speaking about the experience of their work is breaking down. You know, this.
I do have a question for you.
For me,
Yeah. You're not
Okay.
white,
I'm not.
but you are light-skinned with an accent.
Yes.
And some Ugandans may consider you white. Do you get privilege of that?
That's a great question. I don't know if I get privilege.
Yes, he does.
I don't know if I get privilege,
He
but
does.
I get a lot of intrigue, and I get it. The most I get it from is from Uber drivers.
Oh.
So I'll order an Uber, right? And they hear this accent, and then when they pull up and they see me come out, they go, "Zimbo, your accent, I thought you was white."
Yeah.
And then we start laughing. And they ask me where I'm from. I break it down to them. And they say, oh, man, I want to go to London. Man, no. And soon as they say that, I break the myth straight away. I say, do you want to just work and then only have Saturday to yourself and then you're back to work on Monday? And if you're a minute late, you're pulled into an office, getting a verbal warning, then a written warning, and then losing your job. Like, you want to work in such confines? And he was like, is that what it's like? Yep. He couldn't believe it. I mean, listen, this is how I get to work. And I showed him, I went on YouTube, I showed him a video of my commute on the subway system, underground system. And he couldn't believe. He said, but you're packed like rats. Like, you're like, I was like, see, not everything is greener on the other side. So, yeah, but I don't know. I think I get a lot of intrigue. I think sometimes I do get like a little privilege, but it's like the more and more I've lived here, I think the more and more I've got Uganda in my system and in my psyche. I don't get it that much anymore. They just think I'm from the West, especially when I hang around with some of my friends from the West. So.
Western Uganda?
Yeah.
Agand. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah. I think that's my honest answer.
Ashay, what about you?
So I think after looking at this clip, first of all, I lived in Europe for some time in Poland. And this guy's from Germany.
Yeah.
So automatically coming into Ghana, he's going to be able to, he's a heavyset guy, probably not going to be at the highest level in Germany.
Yeah.
He gets to Ghana, he's going to have his pick, right? And most of the guys that come from the West, including myself, are maintained. When we come into Uganda, we will have more privilege than the average Ugandan person, to a certain extent. Yeah, because of our skills, the way that we may see the world, we have maybe certain advantages that we can lean on. We'll have privileges. But let me talk about the diaspora and what they're going to see. Because African Americans, Caribbeans, we've been sold the myth of return to Africa, build Africa, do great things in Africa. You can be a man in Africa, and you're going to come here and you're going to see somebody like that who doesn't do the best quality of work, having a more advantageous time than you. That's going to be the hard thing. When you go to a restaurant and you see like 80-year-old white guys with like the hottest chicks in the world in that country, it's going to be like, whoa, like it's going to be a real reality shocker. And here's what I want to take about from that. You can't worry about that because some people will say that like, oh man, that's how it is. They're getting the privilege. Look at me. I've been in Uganda for going on 6 years. I honestly feel like if I was a white person, this company would be a lot different.
Yes.
It'd be a lot different. We've done some great things as Kenganda in Uganda. Yeah. With bringing people here, getting interest here, doing farms, doing the Pan-African dating show. If I was somebody white, they would have to do 30% of what I'm doing and get more recognition. Yeah. So for the fact that I am an American, it does help a little bit, but it wouldn't be as far as that. Here's where the diaspora gets it wrong. We want to get upset about that and make it a reason as to why we still can't develop further in Africa. And you're going to see that kind of stuff. I had a homeboy, George. He's like, man, I can't come to Africa and see that I want to leave. But that's the point. Like, you can't let that bother you.
Yeah.
The work has to be done, right?
Regardless.
Has to be done regardless.
Yeah. You're
going to see those things when you're here. It is going to bother you. You're going to see guys getting deals based on the fact that they're white because you're still black. You have an American accent, people will trust you more, but they'll trust a white person from Russia more because they're white and you're black. You're still a Negro, right? You still like anything that has pain and scam and lies is associated with your skin. So you got to understand that. And you still have to keep working and keep pushing and keep developing. Because if that was the case, I'd have left Uganda a long time ago. And you have to worry about then who sees you for your value of what you can bring. Because even in we're inside a co-working space. I've seen dudes who are not black that get a lot further than me. We spend the most money in that co-working space. Flat out, as a company. I've seen, and you've seen even privilege in other ways. Like, I've seen Ugandans who get more privilege than us, which I could be more okay with than others. And we do more work, we do better work. But you can't let it bother you. If that white guy is getting privilege, well, let me just say this. My dad, my brother's a preacher, right? He's a preacher. He's a pastor of our church. He goes, singing and hollering in the pulpit will get you in, but it won't keep you.
Right.
So, those guys, if they don't do the work right, they still got to stand on their own too. They may get opportunities, but they got to fulfill them. Come to Africa, not worried about who got white privilege, not worried about who got Indian privilege. We are here to kick ass. That's why we're here. We're not here worried about what advantages somebody else got or why we don't have them.
Yeah.
We can't worry about that. We are here to make an impact on our group. We're here to build our community. And if anybody else don't like it, that's what we got to deal with. And I felt that attitude because you can find so many reasons to be defeated in Africa. And that's one of them. White privilege will get anybody defeated. Wow, man, they kidded on him. What about us? Man, I'm going back to America. I didn't come over here for this shit. Prepare yourself for, you're going to see that. Prepare yourself for going into restaurants when you have more money than the white person. And you're going to get served last. It's going to happen because these people, you have to understand, our people are sick. They don't know, right? So I wouldn't even get mad at them. That happened to me in Joburg. It happens to me in Kampala all the time. And I've been going to that restaurant for years. I've even mentioned it on my blogs.
And you give the most tips in that restaurant.
I give the most tips in any restaurant, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is that we have to, and that's years of blacks not supporting each other.
Yeah.
But if we have more of blacks that were supporting each other, it will change the narrative. So it's some work on our end that we need to do. Because the same thing in London. Maintain told me a story about black business, how everybody wants to discount. Yeah. And so we see, the thing with the black world is we don't trust each other. We don't have any level of accountability. It's not my own idea. I heard a white guy say this. No trust, no accountability equals no collaboration. Right? So whatever somebody else is doing, like we have a saying in America, what you eat don't make me shit. I'm not worried about white privilege. Eventually, I'm going to kick your ass. You're not going to be able to compete with me. If you got Ugandan privilege, if you're in the same business as me, I'm going to dominate you. Because you can't handle productivity beats everything. Look at Kenganda YouTube channel. You can give every deal you want. You can't beat us. What podcast in this country you can give every week? We had an awards here last year. I won't call no name. I'm gonna shout out. We wasn't even on the list.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
One wasn't even on the list. We had more views, and if y'all listen out there, and subscribers than all of y'all combined. But we got the YouTube plaque coming and y'all don't. Shots fired. Bang, bang. So you can be corrupt all you want. You can't beat the truth.
It's true.
So we got to worry about building our loyalty, building our fan base, doing a good business, adding value to our group. The rest take care of itself. Let them have the privilege, but the work will beat itself. Yeah. It will win on the end.
Yeah. I like what you're saying. I like letting the work speak for itself because at the end, I mean, you are seen by there's a saying from Western Uganda, they say, like we'll see them by the fruits. You know? See who was who was preparing and who was sowing and whatnot. You reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a long one. You reap what you sow. I like
fail
that.
to prepare to fail.
Yeah, I like that you said that. Also, I think the other thing could also be like speaking up, when you see something like that happen.
Yeah.
Because if you're being treated poorly, but you've come to spend your money at this establishment, you should say something.
No, it's very true.
Shout out to our manager, Rachel. She's in the background. She's here today. She doesn't want to say anything. But Rachel is on her no-nonsense journey. And she will call you out if she's giving you her money and you're not giving her 100% of that service. She will say something.
Really?
And I think that speaks for all of us because we're all able to look at her and say, she's able to speak up, And then we can also do the same thing. Like, just speak up for yourself.
Yeah.
If you see that someone else is being treated more better than you are, yet you have this, you're going to pay for the same things, then you should say something,
Yeah.
Also, it's also a matter of educating. Some of these askaris or like locals don't be knowing anything. Just tell him like, hey, I'm your Ugandan, like treat me better, man.
But hold on, let me just say this.
Yeah.
What did you say? You will know you about your work, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna be honest. How many times do people work? I know somebody in a company, very, very big company here. He tells me yesterday, me and Rachel was talking to the same individual. He hasn't been paid in 2 months. Okay? So here's a person doing a good job for a black, like we gotta take ownership in black business, in the black business circle. It's something that as people, we have taught Africans and black, the same, if you go to Black London, I'm pretty sure, African-American community, Africa. Do you want to work for somebody black? No. Everybody gonna say the same thing, right? Why? They not gonna pay. They lie a lot. We even have a joke here about that.
Yeah.
Do you trust them? Never. Will they lie? A lot. Right? So we have that's the same thing in the Caribbean, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Because we want to abuse black talent. We want to abuse. So when we do that, how are the people on the other side supposed to feel? Well, they're going to be like, well, I'm tired of dealing with you because you don't pay. You give a bad attitude. You want all to work for free. So then they go out and they do that. So then we get mad when they see somebody else because I'm going to be honest. In restaurants, whites are more likely to tip than blacks.
Shit.
They're more likely to tip. So there's a reason why they're giving service to whites better, because whites typically will most likely known to pay more, pay on time. Blacks don't like to have that level of accountability in the business as much as other groups. So this is the reason why we have all these young ladies in Africa going over to Saudi Arabia. Why are they going to Saudi Arabia? Because they can't get paid here. So we have to also be like, well, why are they feeling like that? And there has to be a reason. And then we have a lot of work to do to establish trust. We don't have trust on the continent of Africa. We don't have trust in Black London. We don't have trust in the African-American community. Yeah. So we're going to face those issues. Yeah. So us in the business community, what is our job then? Okay, when we do something, we're supposed to do it. And if we don't do it, we can expect that white privilege is going to be happening because we're allowing it also. As blacks, here's what we want to do. We want to be able to treat you any kind of fucking way we want. And you supposed to still stay loyal. That ain't how it works. People are loyal to what's good. Do you bring resources or do you bring value? Whatever. If the black community brought that for the blacks, they will stay loyal. If they don't, they leave. They're humans, right? So we can't give them nothing and expect them to be loyal. That's stupid. And that's what the black world is based on. We want people to be loyal for us for what? Zero. That's what we want.
Yeah.
You two have raised some very good points.
Yeah.
But you've both said it. It's accountability, right?
Right.
If you go, because the thing is, we deep down, black people want other black people to succeed, right? Mm-hmm. And when we get poor service, we think twice about doing a Google review and even a bad review and things like that. We don't want to hurt another black person's business. But how are we supposed to grow if we're not accountable? And I think that's where it starts.
Yeah.
And that will just make everybody raise their standards. Like if you can get away with something, you're gonna get away with it.
Right.
Yeah.
So once people realize in the diaspora that we can't get away with things, the only thing we can get away with is good service, then I believe we'll see a change.
Yeah.
But not before then.
And that's the thing, like, we got to look at the white privilege and we get mad at the white people for wanting to, because the guy says, why use my privilege for good? He said that.
He did.
Well, not everybody going to use their privilege for good. Not Ugandans or whites or blacks or anybody.
Yeah.
Because when I get power over you, doesn't mean I got to use it for good, right?
Yeah. He's an exception. He's not the rule. He's an exception.
Yeah, he's an exception. And some of us don't do the good things with power. But the thing is that if we want our people to operate a certain way, the black got to stand up and operate within rules of what? Accountability. Even in this company. Ain't nothing that I won't do that I expect somebody to do. I carry shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the shoots, I carry whatever. I get up in the morning, I carry stuff, I pick it up. And I tell these guys, if I see a woman's carrying something, I'm gonna fire you. You get down there and you carry it. Is it true?
Yeah.
So I tell the men in the business, you're accountable to be leaders, so you need to do what you're supposed to do. But if I'm not doing it, will they respect you? You know, it's time for overnight. I have to be down there with them. So if we want to be leaders, it takes the work. A lot of us want to talk about leadership in the black world, and then we want to just give a speech instead of doing the thing we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So again, the white privilege is going to work because, like the guy said later on in the video, he pays somebody in this company something like 8,000 Ghana CDs, which comes up to about $700 a month. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I guarantee he pays on time. I guarantee he pays when he's supposed to. If the blacks were to do that, people would also treat you differently. I know it because I'm here. I've been here for 5 years. I've never had nobody quit in Kenganda. Not once. No, fired is different.
Okay. True.
But no, but you treat people, you teach people how to treat you based on what you give to them.
Yeah.
We gotta learn how to give in the black world. We are too busy taking and expecting somebody to give us back, which that's insanity.
Yeah.
Also, what I've seen in Kampala,
Yeah.
we need to treat service staff better.
you.
In what way?
So say like, for instance, let me create a fictional scenario. So you go into a restaurant and they serve you first because you were there first and the white person or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen with my own eyes the way service staff are treated.
Wow.
It's literally no eye contact. That
By who?
Yeah.
Who treats them like that?
by us.
Oh yeah.
Black people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's
Especially rich blacks.
yeah, especially rich blacks. And I've been in Cafe Java's and I've seen it and I'm like,
And you know Jervis's service is amazing.
it's
Shout out to them.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you go, okay, I'm doing the right thing, and you get served by someone that looks like you, and they just don't even make eye contact. They just and get that.
But when
and
the Indian manager comes to ask you if you're enjoying your meal, you're all,
oh yeah, exactly. So we need to be better at that. It's mostly the white superiority complex privilege thing that's been inbuilt, unfortunately. Or sometimes it's like, oh my God. It's like, I know what they're gonna be like. They're gonna be rude, they're gonna they're not gonna tip, they're gonna be clicking their fingers at me and
let me just say this.
like that,
let me cut you off, but I want to say this. This is gonna probably get me kidnapped. But I'm gonna tell you the
God
truth.
forbid.
I see rich people in cliques here
Yeah, that's true.
that do shit like that. They are fucking rude to people. They are disrespectful to people because of where they're from.
yeah.
I've seen it. I've been close to them to see enough.
Because you see their attitude. Like, you clearly didn't study hard enough if you're working here serving me. So I have no respect for you.
I have no respect for you. And because my family is such and such,
Yeah.
you need to
Yeah.
do whatever. I mean, I've seen people almost cry when they come by, when they walk in, they want this messianic identity, which is, I'm not trying to say that's the wrong culture because I believe in hierarchy. I'm a big person, believe in a hierarchy, and things need to go top down, right? I'm a big believer in that. The person top is there for a reason, and you should respect people and all that. But when it comes to, where that person is a nobody, I don't. I don't believe that because you have money, you need to mistreat people. And I see that in Africa a lot, wherever I go. Rich Africans, it's like, now that I'm rich, let me show you that you're not shit. And that happens a lot on the continent, and people are afraid to say it, but I see it. And you can't go through the life treating people like shit and expecting people to appreciate you. And that's the one thing that we got to understand, that money is what you have, it's not who you are.
Thank you.
That's different. Because before I had any money, I was the same person I am today. I didn't really give a fuck. I still don't. I say what I want to say, right? And the way I treat people when I had money, when I was broke, is how I treat people when I had money. Now, y'all done made me broke this year. I ain't got shit. But I'm the same person based on who I am. Money is who I am. Because here's the thing that we got to understand, people. I'm a Christian, not the best one, but there's a story my grandmother told me. There's a song, and it talks about a lady that lives in the big house. There's a house that I used to live in. This lady used to live in, right? It's very beautiful. I go to the neighborhood and I ask, what happened to the lady in that house Want to know what happened to her? She don't live there anymore. And then the name of that song is called Somewhere Around the Throne, because that lady died. You can't keep none of that shit when you got to go. All that we have, we will lose. Mother, father, brother, grandmother, all of that goes. What all do you have to go with is who you were. You know, that's all you got. So when you're trying to be little people because they don't have much, do you remember when you're working, if you're African diaspora, remember that was you when you was in London and you had to build yourself up using the States? That was me too. I used to work at KFC. So you gotta be mindful of who you talking to. You don't know who that person is. There's a story about Samuel Doe. Samuel Doe took over Liberia. Anybody know who Samuel Doe is? Samuel Doe ended up being a killer machine. He was one of those people that was a guy in the military that couldn't read. He was trying to take night classes. And Dr. Amos, I forgot his name. He was like, there was this kid in my night class that was asking questions. He couldn't speak English. And Dr. Amos Sawyer was a American-Liberian. He ended up getting a PhD from the University, I believe, of Indiana and came back. Come to find out, that guy assassinated Tolbert and took the country and now was his leader. Now, what if you had treated that guy mean? You don't know. So you have to really watch, and I see a lot of the abuse that comes from these people here in the country. You think it's foreigners doing it. No, it's not. Not from what I see. In Africa, it's the elites that do that. And so when people don't want to support you because you have money in the way you do, well, then you get mad because they want a defect. Well, we have to also have the responsibility. Even Black Americans do it. We do it too when we come to Africa. We not all of us are doing that. We feel like we have privilege over, so it's our time to shit on people. Everybody's doing that. So we have to understand this is why people don't want to, when they see other groups, they're tired of us. A part of that is true too.
Yeah. Oh, you were preaching right there.
Yeah.
I built it up.
Yeah.
Build it up, brother.
Yeah.
Build it up.
But do you have any last remarks before we close this one?
Accountability.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I got to say.
Well, thank you.
You two are on fire today.
Well,
Made my job easy.
What about you? Should you have...
No, I think that, just in the close it off is, we have a lot of work to do. We probably won't get it done in this lifetime. But the reality is that when people see whites and Asians and they run to them, the number one thing for us to see is that person's a sellout. That person's a raccoon. We know what the word is. But we also got to look at where they maintain accountability. What role do we play in helping them make that choice? Yeah. And the reason why we don't have a lot in Africa and in the Black world, because when the Africa Free Trade Agreement comes out, Africa will be the number one trading bloc on planet Earth. There's no doubt about it. Africa will have the driver's seats. If Africa can do two things: establish trust and accountability, which the European Union has done.
Yeah.
But with that, you can't get collaboration. And that's what our event is on February the 2nd at Motive, which is we're going to have another networking thing. We had one in November. Yeah. And that's what our themes are. Yeah. We want to have trust and accountability to increase collaboration. Yeah. So once we can increase collaborations, we don't need nobody else. We don't need Chinese or whites. But the reason why we trust them more than us because we don't have any trust. And then we want things from you. How many times in here are in the Black community? Oh, I can do that for you, brother. You pay them. Then why you didn't do it? Well, because I was my mama died or my grandmama was sick, and they don't want to be accountable. Yeah. All right, let me go work for the whites because they'll pay you on time, not 4 months down the road. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So without that, stop complaining. If you're not going to be accountable for why your people act like that, you really need to shut the up. Okay. It's the only way to do it.
Yep. Well, thank you so much.
Do you trust them in the business?
Yeah. But yeah, like he mentioned, thank you guys. Thank you. That was nice. That was good. We do have an event on the 2nd. I won't be there. Talk to me. We are celebrating 5 years, and we're also thanking you for hitting 100K subscribers. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, come through. There's a networking session, and we'll be talking all things YouTube you meet fellow creatives, and Maintain is that, guys. You meet Maintain. I know so many of you want to meet him too. Don't just approach a shit like that. He'll have security on that day, so.
Yes.
But yeah.
What's that one big guy? Yeah, he my purse security.
Yeah.
The one that grabbed me that day, I was like, oh shit.
but yeah. But come correct. Don't come with your case or anything like that. But yeah, I would love to see you there if you can. If you want to RSVP, you can send us a message at Kenganda Nation, or send any one of us a message. Anyway, we'll just jot your name down somewhere. But yeah, thank you so much. Make sure you follow us on all our social media pages. Follow the company, obviously. Follow Maintain, follow Chef, follow me, follow everyone. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.